They are suburban hospitals with a religious background, and they promise compassionate care. But CBS 2's Dorothy Tucker reports some of their own employees say there's nothing compassionate about Hinsdale and LaGrange hospitals. In fact, they say they were discriminated against.
You were overlooked 3 times for a full-time position.
I was overlooked several times for a full-time position.
Daphne Livesey says she's a victim of discrimination, and she says she's got the paperwork to prove it.
And these are all good?
These are just some of the positive evaluations Livesey got from Hinsdale Hospital, where she once worked as a part-time x-ray technician. She's now suing the hospital for racial discrimination, accusing her supervisors of promoting young whites ahead of her for nearly 4 years.
It was just horrible. It still brings tears to my eyes now, even as I speak, because I just can't believe that it went on so long.
After filing a lawsuit, Livesey says she was eventually fired. She's one of 8 women who recently contacted CBS 2 News who have been fired, laid off, or quit working at Hinsdale Hospital or its sister facility, LaGrange. Most have filed discrimination complaints with the EEOC or, like Curtis Dennis, have a civil suit in federal court.
It was always stress.
Dennis accuses her supervisors of assigning the black nurses' aides jobs her white colleagues didn't have to do.
And we would complain about, you know, the white girls don't do this or they don't have to do that. And they was like, it's your job.
DeAndrea Campbell, a lab technician, is another former employee willing to speak out. She says she became a target of harassment when she complained about a racial insult she says her boss made.
They said, do your job, do your job and go home. And about a week later, they wrote me up for numerous of things.
Now, the hospital did respond to the allegations. A spokesman wrote, in more than 100 years of service, not one of our hospitals has ever been found guilty of discrimination. When a discrimination complaint is made, we conduct a prompt and thorough investigation. In each of these cases, the employees were terminated for legitimate, non-discriminatory business reasons. Now, what's really interesting about these cases is that the lawsuits were all filed in the last 2.5 years, and until very recently, the women had no idea there were so many others who had similar complaints.
That's surprising, because that's a question I asked you while the story was on, if they knew each other, and they do now.
You know, one called me. She was a little uneasy about talking, and then she said, well, I think I know somebody else. I'll feel better. Then that person called the next person, and the next thing I knew, I had 8 women talking all about the same thing.
Okay, Dorothy Tucker, thanks.